Have you ever felt like you know what you should do, but just can't bring yourself to do it? What if I told you that the missing piece isn't motivation or even discipline, but the way you think about action itself? The ancient Stoics faced the same struggles we do, and they left behind powerful lessons that still ignite the fire to act, even in our darkest, most uninspired moments. In the grand theatre of life, it's not our intentions or dreams that define us, but our actions. This timeless truth, echoed by the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, reminds us that what we do speaks louder than what we say. But here's the twist. Behind every action lies motivation, and behind motivation, emotion. Now pause for a second. What happens when that emotional spark dies out? When motivation fades like a distant star? How do we move forward when inspiration is nowhere in sight? We've all been there, drained, distant from our goals. Not because we stopped caring, but because we simply didn't feel the inner fire to chase them. That's where Stoicism can quietly but powerfully enter the scene. Unlike fleeting emotional highs, Stoic philosophy offers something deeper, a grounded force that doesn't rely on how we feel in the moment. Seneca, another brilliant Stoic thinker, once warned, plans fail because they have no aim. When a man doesn't know what harbor he is making for, no wind is the right wind. Think about that. Without purpose, we drift. But with purpose, even life's storms can push us forward. This is your call to set your course, choose your harbor, and learn how to sail, no matter the weather. So join me as we explore 7 Stoic lessons that will help you not only take action, but stay in action, even when your motivation takes a hit. These teachings aren't about suppressing emotion, but about building resilience and purpose so strong that no passing feeling can derail you. Let's dive into the first principle, a cornerstone of Stoic living, and one that will change the way you approach your goals from this day on. Self-control isn't just a virtue in Stoic thought, it's the launchpad for meaningful action. Marcus Aurelius himself believed that the true power of a person lies in how they respond, not react, to life's unpredictable ups and downs. This kind of control isn't limiting. In fact, it's liberating. With self-discipline, we move not according to impulse, but according to reason. We're no longer ruled by fleeting urges or distractions. Instead, we harness them, like sails catching the right wind. But how do we find that kind of discipline when chaos calls? It starts with a calm realization. You have the power to shape your responses, to build your life not around comfort, but around character. It means acting according to your deepest values, even when it's inconvenient. It means aligning what you do with who you want to become. Epicurus advised that we repeat good actions until they become second nature. In other words, train your willpower like a muscle. Begin each day with intention. Set goals that align with your values, and practice small, consistent acts of control, like saying no to one distraction or yes to one challenge. Over time, those small acts become the threads that weave a resilient, unshakable character. Of course, the path isn't always smooth. Discipline involves falling down, getting back up, and continuing anyway. Seneca, with all his insights into the human spirit, understood this. The path to self-mastery is not perfection, it's persistence. Previously, we explored how self-discipline is the steady hand that guides us, helping us align our actions with our values, even when motivation runs dry. Now, let's go one layer deeper into the heart of what truly makes self-discipline a powerful, transformative force. Seneca once said that it is through the fiery trials of life, through confronting our own weaknesses head-on, that we are polished and strengthened. Like iron in the flame, our character is tempered by challenge. His teachings remind us that every fall, every failure, is not a sign to quit, but an opportunity to recommit, to rise again, sharper than before. In this light, self-discipline is not just a strategy for getting things done. It's far more than a method for boosting productivity. It becomes a deeply spiritual practice, a lifelong commitment to living with integrity, to honoring the promises we make to ourselves and others, and to moving forward with unwavering purpose. So ask yourself, how often do you pause to reflect on your own discipline? In what small daily ways could you strengthen your will and align your habits with your highest values? Because it's in those small decisions, those quiet, often unseen choices, that our potential begins to unfold. With each disciplined act, we turn vague dreams into real progress. We transform fleeting thoughts into meaningful action. We step from chaos into clarity. Through Stoic eyes, discipline is what gives life direction. It guides us through the wilderness of distraction toward a life rich with intention, peace, and personal power. True freedom, the Stoics taught, doesn't come from doing whatever we want. It comes from mastering ourselves, from being firm but fair with our desires, emotions, and impulses. That's why knowing the difference between what we can control and what we cannot is so vital. It's one of the cornerstones of Stoic practice. When we stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable and instead focus inward on our thoughts, responses, and behaviors, we begin to find real strength. Picture this. You're in a difficult situation. Emotions rise. Stress builds. What do? The Stoics would say, pause. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, take action. If it isn't, let it go. That shift in focus can be the difference between being overwhelmed and being empowered. Self-awareness, then, is not optional, it's essential. It's how we learn to spot the triggers that lead to impulsive behavior. By reflecting daily, perhaps through journaling, or simply taking a few minutes each night to review your choices, you build a kind of inner mirror. You start to notice the why behind your actions. And in that noticing, you gain the power to choose differently. The Stoics even embraced pain, not as something to fear, but as a teacher. Discomfort, they believed, is a forge for resilience. So they trained themselves with small, intentional acts of hardship, cold baths, fasting, tough workouts. Each moment of chosen discomfort made them stronger, calmer, more prepared for whatever life would throw at them. Want to build that kind of mental muscle? Start small. Get comfortable with a little discomfort. It's not about suffering. It's about building your capacity to face life on your own terms. Finally, one of the greatest supports for self-discipline is clarity. Clear priorities lead to clearer choices. When your goals are grounded in your values, distractions lose their power. You know what matters, and more importantly, you know what doesn't. So write them down. Define your long-term goals and revisit them often. That clarity becomes a compass, helping you say no to what doesn't serve your path and yes to what does. Previously, we saw how clarity, patience, and self-awareness form the backbone of true self-discipline. Now, let's take that foundation and build on it by turning our goals into concrete action. It's not enough to simply have goals. We must know how to approach them in manageable, meaningful steps. One of the most practical ways to stay focused is to break your big goals down into smaller, realistic actions. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You don't look at the summit the whole time. You focus on the next step in front of you. Start by dividing your goals into clear, achievable tasks. Then, sort those tasks based on their urgency and importance. What needs to be done now? What can wait? By organizing your responsibilities this way, you keep your attention where it truly matters. But don't stop there. Regularly check in on your progress. Are you still on course? If life throws you a curveball, and it will, be ready to adjust your plans without losing sight of the bigger picture. Discipline isn't rigidity. It's focused flexibility. To stay on the path, you'll need something else too: patience and persistence. The Stoics taught that sticking to your course, especially when things go wrong, is essential for both growth and fulfillment. Anyone can follow a plan when everything goes smoothly. But what about when the storm comes? This is where real discipline is tested and forged. Set goals that are ambitious yet realistic, and when setbacks come, don't see them as signs of failure. See them as invitations to build deeper strength. Remind yourself, progress is never a straight line. Daily discipline is about much more than control. It's about becoming fully aware of who we are, embracing discomfort when needed, setting meaningful goals, and showing up every day, even when it's hard. Each time we do, we sharpen our ability to handle life's challenges with calm, grace, and inner strength. Now that we've looked at how discipline begins with structure and intention, we must confront two of its greatest enemies: procrastination and laziness. These aren't just productivity problems. From a Stoic point of view, they are personal and moral challenges. When we give in to laziness, we aren't just delaying a task. We're choosing ease over growth. We're denying ourselves the chance to become who we're meant to be. It's tempting, isn't it? Choosing what feels good now over what's truly good for us long term. But the Stoics challenge us to resist that comfort trap. Why? Because when we let convenience rule us, our potential stays stuck in the shadows, visible but always out of reach. Thankfully, Stoicism offers a powerful remedy. It teaches that the present moment is all we truly have, and it is right now, not later, that we can choose a better path. Marcus Aurelius urged us to live as if each day were our last. Why wait to do the good we're capable of? Death waits for no one, so why should we keep waiting to live fully? Epicurus added to this idea, reminding us that we are the authors of our own fate. He warned us not to see laziness as just a bad habit, but as a choice to be less than we're capable of. Every time we delay, we're choosing weakness over strength, distraction over purpose. To break these habits, we must do something bold. Welcome discomfort, not fear it, not run from it, but see it as a friend, a mentor, something that sharpens us. When we take action with presence and purpose, even in the face of discomfort, we begin to free ourselves from the chains of delay. Seneca, too, had harsh but truthful words. He pointed out how we fiercely protect our possessions, but let our time be stolen every single day. We guard our money and our homes, but give our time to meaningless distractions without a second thought. His solution: live with order, design your day with intention, treat each hour as a precious resource, recognize distractions for what they are: thieves in disguise. To overcome procrastination, we don't need hacks, we need mindset. A Stoic mindset, one that sees discipline not as a punishment, but as a path to freedom. One that embraces discomfort as part of the journey, and one that invites us to show up fully, mindfully, for each task we choose to do. Previously, we uncovered how embracing discipline and living intentionally in each moment can break the cycle of procrastination. Now, let's take that momentum and channel it into something even more powerful: habit. As we continue to free ourselves from inaction, it's essential to remember one simple truth: our time is limited. Every moment we waste isn't just lost to distraction, it's lost to virtue, to progress, to the life we could be living. The Stoics remind us that time, once spent, can never be regained. So how we use each day matters deeply. To truly overcome laziness and hesitation, we must build lives anchored in purpose. Lives guided by the principles of Stoicism. Meaningful action, inner strength, and the unwavering pursuit of virtue. When we commit to these ideals, we don't just beat procrastination. We begin to embody the wisdom of the Stoic sage, living closer to our highest potential. Imagine Stoic philosophy as a vast garden where virtue and wisdom bloom. In that garden, good habits are the roots. Quiet, steady, unseen, yet essential. These daily actions, repeated over time, shape who we are. They reflect not just what we do, but what we truly believe and value. Good habits are more than routines. They are signs of deep commitment to ourselves, to others, and to the kind of life we want to lead. With every repeated action rooted in purpose, we stitch together the fabric of a life worth living. One habit, one thread, one day at a time. So what are these habits the Stoics praised so highly? They are habits aligned with our rational nature and built to support true well-being. Practicing mindfulness, expressing gratitude, showing kindness, pursuing wisdom and knowledge, staying resilient through adversity, acting with justice, honesty, and integrity. These are not grand gestures. They are consistent, grounded acts that strengthen the soul. They help us face challenges with courage and shape our character over time. They are the keys to a quieter, wiser mind and a more meaningful life. But how do we actually make these habits stick? Marcus Aurelius said it best. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. It's not something you do once, it's something you train into your way of living. Each day is a new opportunity to live out these virtues, to think clearly, act kindly, learn something new, and care for your body and mind. Epictetus, always the practical voice among Stoics, reminded us that the path to virtue isn't about being perfect, it's about progress. We don't build habits to look flawless. We build them because each small effort helps us become just a little bit better than yesterday. Growth doesn't come from never failing. It comes from returning to the path every time we stumble. It's the return, the recommitment, that transforms us. Seneca, too, placed great value on time. He warned that we often give our most precious resource, time, to activities that weaken us rather than strengthen us. His solution: guard your time like treasure. Devote it to actions that build you up, not break you down. This kind of intentional living ensures that our habits don't stay just good intentions. They become part of how we live, how we think, how we act, every single day. So, following Stoic, wisdom to develop good habits is more than a checklist. It's a daily promise to shape our lives around virtue. It's about using each new day as a fresh canvas, where we paint our character with small, steady brushstrokes. And when we do this with purpose, these habits don't just help us take action. They guide us toward a life that's rich in meaning, filled with peace, and firmly rooted in the values we hold most dear. Let this be your quiet reminder. Each sunrise brings another chance to step closer to your best self. What good habits have helped you grow? What simple, positive practices have shaped your journey? Share your stories in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Earlier, we explored how good habits, when built consistently, become the pillars of a virtuous and fulfilling life. Now, let's bring that idea to life with real, practical steps and see how these habits can become part of who you are, not just something you do. Good habits are more than actions. They are expressions of who we are becoming. When we consistently choose to do what is right and meaningful, we begin to shape not just our days, but our entire lives. With every small decision, we build a stronger foundation for growth, character, and purpose. Let's look at how to start forming habits that stick and truly reflect our deepest Stoic values. First, take a moment to identify the virtues that matter most to you. What qualities do you want your life to reflect? Justice, courage, wisdom, moderation. Once you're clear on these core values, think about daily actions that express them. For example, if temperance is important to you, perhaps a habit of mindful eating or moderation in consumption aligns with that value. Start small and stay steady. One of the biggest mistakes people make is going too hard too fast. The Stoics would encourage you to build slowly. 5 minutes of intentional action every day is more powerful and more sustainable than 1 hour once a week. Whether it's journaling, meditating, or a gratitude practice, consistency is the true key. Here's one simple habit. Each day, write down one thing you're grateful for. This small act builds mindfulness and appreciation over time, gently, shifting your mindset toward contentment and clarity. You can also make it easier by linking new habits to your existing routines. Want to practice mindfulness? Try doing it right after brushing your teeth in the morning. This kind of habit stacking helps your brain connect the new behavior with an already established action, making it more likely to stick. Next, track your progress. Use a notebook or an app to monitor how you're doing. Reflect often. Are these habits making you feel more grounded, more purposeful, more in tune with your values? At the end of each week, look back. What's shifted in how you think or behave? Writing this down makes the invisible visible and gives you the motivation to keep going. And here's something critical. Be kind to yourself when you slip up. Forming habits is a journey, not a race. You will miss a day. You will face moments of resistance or fatigue. When that happens, don't beat yourself up. Just course correct. If you skipped a workout, try a lighter session tomorrow instead of quitting altogether. It takes patience. It takes commitment. And most of all, it takes a desire to grow into your highest self. Over time, with steady effort, these small actions will create a life grounded in virtue and purpose. Remember, the Stoic path isn't about perfection, it's about progress, about returning to your values again and again until they become second nature. That's how real change happens. Quietly, gradually, powerfully. Now that we've seen how habits shape character, let's explore how adversity reveals it. Because no matter how strong your routines are, life will throw you off balance. The question is, what will you do then? Life, after all, is a journey, a winding road stitched together with trials, like patches in a well-worn quilt. Each of us walks that path in our own way. Some turn back when things get hard. Others lean into the challenge. And that's where Stoicism comes alive. This philosophy isn't just about thinking differently, it's about responding differently. It invites us to see challenges not as barriers, but as teachers. Take Epictetus. Born into slavery, bound by both chains and the harsh limits of his time, he could have surrendered to his circumstances. But he didn't. Within those constraints, he found a deeper freedom. Freedom of thought, of will, of spirit. He transformed hardship into insight and taught that our response to adversity, not the adversity itself, is what shapes us. He once said that it's not the situation that defines us, but how we meet it. That, at the core, is Stoic thinking. Don't run from difficulty. Embrace it. Lean into it. Because in every problem lies a seed, sometimes hidden, sometimes buried deep, of equal or greater benefit. So when life hits you with a challenge, pause and ask, what can this teach me? Can I use this moment to grow in patience, strength, compassion? Every challenge, no matter how small, pushes us beyond our comfort zone and into our potential. And there's a ripple effect too. By embracing this mindset, you don't just change yourself, you inspire others. You show what resilience looks like, what calm in chaos looks like, what commitment to growth truly means. In hard times, don't see the struggle as failure. See it as a chance to rise, to evolve, to lead by example. Because sometimes the most powerful act of courage is simply showing up, with a clear mind and an open heart, ready to face what's ahead. As the Stoics teach, every difficulty holds a hidden gift. The question is, are you brave enough to look for it? In the last section, we uncovered how Stoicism teaches us to transform life's challenges into opportunities for growth. Now, let's take a closer look at how this transformation happens by shifting the way we see and respond to the world around us. One of the most powerful Stoic insights is this: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This principle lies at the heart of Stoic resilience. We all face problems, some expected, some that hit like a storm. But the Stoics teach that within every challenge lies a choice. We can see the problem as a wall or as a doorway. the key. Perception, Epictetus explained it simply. The way we perceive problems determines how we deal with them. If we can train ourselves to view obstacles as stepping stones, moments of growth, rather than moments of defeat, we begin to move through life with far greater wisdom and strength. So how do we apply this practically? Start by paying attention to what you can control. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's not just philosophy, it's a strategy for peace of mind. You may not control the chaos outside, but your thoughts, your actions, your reactions, those are yours. And within them lies your power. Instead of spinning in frustration, Stoicism urges us to ask, what's within my control here? Can I change my response? Can I shift my focus? Can I find a solution instead of just reacting emotionally? And sometimes, even when a problem can't be solved, it can still teach. Seneca reminds us that hardship strengthens the mind just as physical labor strengthens the body. Think of each difficulty as mental resistance training. It may not feel great in the moment, but it's shaping something powerful inside you. Resilience, clarity, endurance. To walk the Stoic path is to accept reality, not with defeat, but with resolve. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people fate brings into your life, but do so with all your heart." Acceptance in Stoicism isn't giving up. It's choosing to face life as it is, not as we wish it to be, and directing our energy wisely toward what we can change. By doing this, we don't waste energy fighting the unchangeable. Instead, we center ourselves, conserve our strength, and stay focused on what matters. And here's where Stoic thinking becomes truly transformational, when we give our struggles meaning. Viktor Frankl, inspired by Stoic thought, once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." When we understand the deeper reason behind our suffering, when we connect our pain to a purpose, we unlock a kind of drive that pushes us forward, even in the darkest times. That's the Stoic mindset, strong, clear, anchored in purpose. When we adopt it, life's problems stop feeling like weights and start feeling like training grounds. Our obstacles become our teachers, our pain becomes preparation, and our mindset becomes the tool that turns problems into possibilities. So now that we've looked at mindset, let's talk about movement. Because big change doesn't begin with a giant leap. It begins with a single, humble step. Strange, isn't it? That even the most epic journeys, the kind that change lives, begin with something as small as a single decision. But the Stoics knew this well. Starting small wasn't just a motivational quote to them. It was a practical truth. Just look at Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. His journey didn't start in a grand lecture hall or with a grand philosophical declaration. It began with a simple step, walking into a bookstore. There, inspired by the works of Socrates, he took his first quiet step toward building a philosophy that would influence the world for generations to come. That one step? It was everything. Beginning with small steps means understanding that progress doesn't require perfection or full clarity. You don't need to see the entire road ahead. You just need to move forward. Even one small act of courage, one small habit, one small decision, it all counts. Each small step is proof of your commitment to grow. And over time, those tiny actions form the path that carries you toward transformation. By starting small, we also embody the Stoic virtue of progress. Not instant mastery, not dramatic change, but quiet, steady effort, refusing to let the size of the task stop us from taking the next right step. In the last section, we discovered the power of starting small, that even the biggest journey becomes manageable when we shift focus to the next right step. Now, let's carry that momentum forward and explore how these steps begin to shape something even deeper, our sense of purpose. Knowing that every small action contributes to a greater goal is more than just encouragement, it's a strategy. It's a way to dismantle the overwhelming and turn the impossible into something doable. Each time we focus on just the step right in front of us, we make it far more likely that we'll actually take it. And once we do, that movement builds momentum, clarity, and confidence. This isn't just a theory, it's practical, it's real. Instead of freezing at the size of a goal, Stoicism encourages us to zoom in, to ask, what's one small thing I can do right now? Shifting your attention from the uncertain future to the grounded present can make all the difference. It puts you back in control. So, take this Stoic lesson to heart. Be strong with an open heart. Don't let the size of your dreams scare you into silence. Let the simplicity of starting empower you. Every small step you take is a declaration, an act of courage, a signal to yourself and the world that you are committed to the path. As you stand at the base of your own mountain, unsure of how far the trail stretches, remember, your strength lies not in seeing the entire journey, but in beginning it. That brings us to a deeper, more enduring question. Why do we do what we do? How do we find the strength to keep going, not just today, but for a lifetime? Stoicism gives us a profound answer. Build your purpose through virtue. Let's look at Cato, the Younger, a powerful example of Stoic purpose in action. In the chaos of ancient Rome, where corruption, power struggles, and betrayal were common, Cato remained unshaken. His deep commitment to integrity and fairness wasn't situational, it was foundational. Even when surrounded by danger and opposition, he chose courage, he chose justice, and he chose to act according to what was right, not what was easy. His life was a mosaic of virtuous actions. Every decision he made reflected the Stoic ideals of wisdom, temperance, justice, and courage. And through those actions, he found his purpose, not in comfort, not in popularity, but in character. So what does this mean for us? It means we must begin asking ourselves, are my daily actions shaping my character? Am I living in alignment with my deepest values, or just chasing external approval or temporary pleasure? Developing a purpose through virtue means anchoring your actions to your values. It's about building a life not around what's trending, but around what's timeless. When your purpose is built on Stoic principles, your motivation shifts from seeking reward to seeking impact. You stop acting to impress and start acting to improve. That's what keeps you steady through life's storms. Purpose born from virtue gives you something far more durable than praise or success. It gives you direction. It gives you strength. It gives your life meaning, even when the outcome is uncertain. Think again of Cato. He didn't act based on whether he would win or lose. He acted based on whether something was right. That's the power of Stoic purpose. It's not driven by fear or reward. It's driven by principle. This lesson calls on us to look inward, to reflect on how our daily choices reflect or stray from our values. Living with purpose the Stoic way means choosing action that honors your commitment to virtue. And in doing so, you don't just improve yourself, you become a guidepost for others. Your life, your character, your example becomes a living message of integrity, courage, and wisdom. In the previous section, we explored how aligning your purpose with virtue can bring deep fulfillment and clarity. Now, let's take a closer look at how Stoic values like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance can shape not only our goals, but the very way we live and make decisions every day. When we root our sense of purpose in virtue, we unlock a powerful and lasting form of motivation. This isn't just fleeting inspiration. It's the kind of conviction that drives action, even in tough moments. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is this: you discover real meaning by doing good. The Stoics believed that living a virtuous life was the true path to happiness and fulfillment. And to them, virtue meant living in harmony with nature and reason, expressed through wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When your daily actions align with these ideals, something shifts. You become more resilient. You begin to see life's difficulties not as things to fear, but as tests you are equipped to face with clarity, strength, and purpose. Let's briefly revisit the 4 cardinal virtues in Stoicism. Wisdom. Seek understanding. Use knowledge and reason to make thoughtful, grounded choices. Ask questions. Learn. Grow. Courage. Face fear and adversity with bravery. Stand up for what is right, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Justice. Treat others fairly. Act with integrity. Aim to make a meaningful difference in your community and the world around you. Temperance. Practice self-control. Seek balance. Avoid excess and stay grounded in what truly matters. Take a moment to reflect. What do you value most? What ideals guide your decisions? When we regularly reflect on our personal values, we create a compass, a clear guide that helps us stay true to our principles, even when the path gets rough. Set goals that are rooted in those values. Let them reflect the qualities you admire, like knowledge, fairness, and resilience. And make sure your goals don't just serve yourself, but benefit others too. Then, commit to daily self-improvement. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Just aim for consistent growth. Small, steady steps, like journaling, meditation, or reading Stoic texts, can help you live more intentionally. And when problems arise, don't recoil. Rise. Stoicism teaches us to see obstacles as opportunities to test and strengthen our values. Every challenge becomes a chance to prove our commitment to a meaningful life. So, to live with purpose through virtue, do the following. Embrace the 4 Stoic virtues. Reflect on your deepest beliefs and values. Set meaningful, value-aligned goals. Practice daily habits that support growth, and view every problem as a tool for learning. When you live this way, you don't just find purpose. You build it brick by brick, choice by choice. A life like this is not only more grounded, it's more peaceful, more fulfilling, and more inspiring to those around you. With purpose guiding your path, the next step is learning to clear the clutter, internally and externally, so you can walk it more freely. In today's world, where noise, demands, and distractions come at us from every direction, simplifying your life might feel impossible. But Stoicism shows us that it's not only possible, it's essential. The Stoics believed that living simply allows you to focus on what truly matters. When you remove what's unnecessary, you make room for clarity, peace, and purpose. Here are some powerful ways to simplify your life. The Stoic way. Declutter your physical space. Start by getting rid of things you don't use or need. A clean, organized environment creates a calm, focused mind. When your space feels lighter, so do you. Prioritize what matters. Ask yourself, what people, activities, and values bring me joy and meaning? Don't say yes to obligations that don't align with your goals. Time is limited. Spend it wisely. Create a calming routine. A steady daily rhythm, whether it's a morning practice, scheduled breaks, or nightly reflection, can help reduce stress and increase productivity. Cut down digital distractions. Practice digital minimalism. Be mindful of how much time you spend on screens. Remove apps and tools that don't serve your well-being, and use technology with intention. Simplify your finances. Track your spending. Create a budget. Avoid unnecessary debt. Live within your means. Financial clarity brings peace of mind and frees you to focus on what really matters. Invest in experiences, not things. Rather than collecting possessions, invest in memories. A trip, a conversation, a quiet morning. These are the moments that leave a lasting imprint. Practice mindfulness. Spend time in nature. Try meditation, yoga, or simply slow breathing. Be fully present. Enjoy the small moments. A simple life is one where you're actually living, not just reacting. Remember, simplifying doesn't mean giving things up. It means choosing wisely. It's about trading excess for depth, choosing less so you can feel more. When you simplify with intention, life becomes less about chasing and more about being. In the last section, we explored how simplifying your life, physically, mentally, and emotionally, can free you to focus on what truly matters. Now, let's take that idea one step deeper, clearing out your space, setting strong priorities, limiting digital noise, simplifying your finances, and practicing mindfulness. All of these are external acts. But what the Stoics remind us is that true simplicity begins within. As the Stoics often said, what matters most is not how much you have, but how good and meaningful those things are. So why did they choose to live simply? Because simplicity sharpens focus, removes distraction, and reconnects us with the essentials of a good life. Simplifying your life is not just about owning fewer things. It's about removing internal clutter. It's about peeling back the layers of noise, urgency, and desire until you're left with something clear, centered, and powerful. A life lived with intention. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men of his time, had wealth, status, and influence at his fingertips. Yet he lived modestly, guided not by luxury, but by wisdom. Despite the overwhelming responsibilities of being emperor, he wrote often about the virtue of simplicity. Why? Because in simplicity, he found clarity. In clarity, he found peace. When you remove what's unnecessary, you make space for what matters. Suddenly, your actions become sharper, more intentional. You're no longer pulled in 10 directions, you're moving forward in one. Every act, no matter how small, becomes significant. Every choice becomes a reflection of your values. In a simplified life, action becomes purposeful, not impulsive. You're no longer chasing more, you're choosing better. And that's the true Stoic way. Simplicity isn't about having less just for the sake of it. It's about creating a life, inside and out, that nurtures your best self. A life that's aligned with virtue. A life where distractions are few and each moment holds weight. Let us, like Marcus Aurelius, see through the illusion of excess. Let us embrace simplicity not as a limitation, but as a liberation. Because in that stillness, we find strength. In that quiet, we find direction. And in that clarity, we find the motivation to act deliberately, wisely, and well. So here we are, at the end of a meaningful journey through 7 Stoic lessons to help you take action. Each one is a guiding light, drawn from ancient wisdom, and still fiercely relevant today. From developing self-discipline to cultivating purpose, from embracing discomfort to simplifying your life, these principles aren't just concepts, they are tools, anchors, compasses pointing you toward a life of clarity, resilience, and purpose. But remember, Stoicism is not just about what you know, it's about what you do. These teachings come alive when you apply them, when you turn reflection into action, when you face your struggles with courage and your distractions with discipline. So I invite you, no, I challenge you, to take what you've learned today and live it. Don't just admire Stoic philosophy, become it. Start small, stay consistent. Let every step be meaningful. Build a life rooted in virtue and driven by purpose. And as you walk that path, you won't just transform yourself, you'll begin to inspire those around you as well. If you found these lessons valuable, please support this message of wisdom. Like the video. Share your thoughts in the comments. What Stoic idea resonated most with you? Share this with someone who needs clarity, strength, or motivation today. And if you're new here, subscribe for more timeless insights to help you grow. Thank you for spending this time with us. Your journey of self-mastery is just beginning, and we'll be here to walk it with you. See you in the next lesson.